Welcome to Million Hour Life. I'm your host, Eric Butts. Welcoming a good buddy and a fellow longevity biohacker, Eric Stuerken. What's going on today, Eric?
How we doing, E? How we doing, brother? I'm good.
Very good. Other Eric, how are you, my man?
I'm good. I was just in San Diego for since Monday, so it's been a rough 3 hours back. Screws you up a little bit,
Yeah,
security and
man. It's
rhythm and
not the
stuff.
getting
And
out. It's not the
talking
getting
all
out.
night. Yep.
It's the getting back that makes the jet lag and what's pretty much a big long hangover happen.
Oh yeah.
You did a night. You did a red eye too.
No, I didn't. Usually I do, but this time I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna stay with the posse out a little longer because usually Thursday night's the end of the event, and then I usually shot home and whatever. But this time I stayed out till a little later than normal and had a little later
Nice.
flight. But again, it's just I'm used to such a routine that you get out of that sleep routine alone can make you feel hungover. That's kind of how I feel. So I'm good.
Yep. Well, you started out right. Am I correct? You started your day with hot yoga.
That's it.
Nice.
Hot yoga. So Sundays is my kind of just that, overall mind and getting the body ready for Monday. But yeah, Sunday I do hot yoga. Every day I steam. So I steam for probably about 20 minutes. Sessions of about 8 minutes, and then I go do a 1 minute, 2 minute cold, and then I come back and I do my last 8 minutes with some Wim Hof breathing. I don't know if you guys do that stuff, but
every day
it's an amazing feel for me, and it gets my day going. I think that that next hour after that steam and shower and cold and all that good stuff makes your day pretty awesome.
It's funny, man. We have a very similar routine, little different way of going about it, but you're 20 minutes in the steam and then cold, and then back in the steam, which I like the idea going back and forth. I always heard you're better off ending cold. So I think after you do that last 8 minute steam, you should hop back in the cold for an extra minute or two. But
I go 5, baby. We go 5.
I should have known.
Come on.
So I start on the treadmill, and do some like meditation stuff on the treadmill. Then I'm right in the sauna, which I'll start with my 8 minutes of Wim Hof breathing. I do 3 rounds, try and hold it as long as I can. We talk back and forth. You can also get up now. You can do 1 minute in the steam without breathing. I can get to 1 minute in the sauna, and I can't imagine if it was steam getting longer than 30, 40. But they say that's the advantage. Get the 30 seconds at least of which, if people don't know, that's 30 breaths in as deep and out as fast as you can. And then at the end of that 30 breaths, breathe out, let all the air out you can, and hold your breath as long as you can make it. Then suck in 1 breath, hold it as long as you can make it. Start that over again. You do that 3 times, even in your bed before you wake up. You don't have to be in steam or sauna. That alone is a life changer. And what is the thing that kind of started me on my journey towards biohacking and trying to live towards 1 million hours long?
What was my Wim Hof started with just having asthma. It made sense to kind of clean out, everything talks about getting that lower lobe, which most people, don't even breathe. They use the upper half, which, your whole lower half of that lobe is, you got to expand that part also. And into that athletic part. After high school and college, most people, I think it's like 85 to 90% of people never sprint again.
Never sprint again. Me and Jim just talked about that on the last episode. Isn't that crazy?
It's absolutely bizarre, because if you don't sprint, or at least get to that high level, that zone 1, I don't know if it's zone 1 or zone 5. I think it's zone 5 is the top tier, right? If you don't get to that, you're never going to get into that deep breathing mode. So do a Wim Hof instead if you can't get on, start to get out there and get some sprints or real high level.
And it is crazy, man. Your heart beats like you just sprinted when you're just sitting still and breathing. So I love that, throwing that in there, that, people don't sprint, but breathe, and you're getting almost the equivalent while sitting on your butt in a steam room. So crazy that you got to it out of necessity. You didn't just read something cool on the internet. You were Wim Hof breathing to try and get your lungs to the point where you could better work out, or literally just had trouble with asthma breathing in general?
Oh, asthma, not really all the time. It was more of like a set off. Like if I went outside, and it was most of the time in the fall, at least when it was, let's go back 5-6 years before I was Wim Hofing, but always in that fall, that musty kind of area. Spring, not so much, but mostly in the fall, I just had that shortness of breath. So I mean, I have a puffer or a breather, as they say, right? I use that once in a blue moon, but since the Wim Hof, just the breathing, I think, I don't want to say, again, we're not doctors, but it's definitely helped with my overall breathing, my overall sprint capacity, my overall brain capacity and in the good moodness, right? And, again, what Wim Hof says, and he's got statistics. I'm not that deeply into the biohack. I'll listen to him. But immunity level, I mean, he jacks your immunity level up to, extreme. I don't know if anybody has watched any of the Wim Hof stuff, but he gets injected with like E. coli and they always said, oh, well, Wim Hof's, he's an outlier. Well, no, 13 of his disciples also did it, and they did not get, or they had very minimal symptoms of the E. coli bacteria where everybody else gets sick. So I'll stick with that. Plus it's free. Plus it lets you, again, for me, it lets me meet people, because picture me in the steam room where I go to the gym, and you always get a revolving door, right? And people are like, they try to talk in the middle of it, and I just raise my hand. And then when I'm done, I explain. And then it's funny to see a couple guys start to Wim Hof in the steam room. So I enjoy it for sure.
That's got to be crazy. I sit in the sauna by myself, but I think about you once in a while in the steam room with people walking in as you're doing it.
Yep.
And knowing you, of course, you don't stop doing it. You just become friends with them.
Yep.
And it's always
the wild part is when you're getting changed later after I do my cold breathing and, my cold shower and everything else. I walk out, and then people kind of look at you, because the steam room's pretty thick. You can't really see much. And they'll say, was that you breathing in there like that? What's that all about? And hopefully I can get them to try it and do it, because, it's amazing to me, even when I bring it up now to people in public, that they like, who's Wim Hof? And I guess it's social media. Maybe I watched one or two things way back in the day, and, you get stuck in that feed of holistic or biohacking, whatever you want to call it. So I see a lot of amazing people, and and I try, not that I don't try a lot of the stuff, but I typically do try the stuff. And if it works, you can, choose what you choose to do.
You started with the right thing. Everybody worries about their diet, even how much water they drink. And it's like, okay, you don't eat, you can live 30 days. You don't drink, you can live 3 days. You don't breathe, you're done in 3 minutes. So apparently that's pretty important. So I love the idea of starting the journey of biohacking with breathing, which is like I said, what I did. Now, I found Wim Hof on the internet on Vice before Vice was a TV channel. I watched a little documentary online about Wim Hof and was instantly mesmerized and started doing it. I thought the same thing as you. Look, this is free. I know there's no way this could be hurting me. So why not start it? And I don't know about you. It wasn't like the first day I did it, it changed my life. But within 2 weeks, I would say, I felt a drastic difference on the days I did it and didn't do it. Now I do it 5 days a week, sometimes a 6th day, 1 day over the weekend. There were times in the beginning where I was just starting and I was doing it sometimes, not doing it sometimes, till I realized, like, oh shit, today was a good day. And it started with my breathing routine and, like you said, mind and body getting me in the right spot. Days I didn't do it were more likely to be the days I fell off a little bit. So,
yep. And again, whether or not you feel it, whether it takes 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, I don't care if you don't ever feel it. You just know it's doing something good for you, because statistically and everything else, it proves it. Oxygen, like you said, is the key to everything. And if you're flushing your body and you're, all your blood vessels with as much air as possible and getting that flow going in the morning of that, it's a good thing. I'll never stop. I do it 7 days a week. I haven't showered at home in probably 6 months. I am so wrapped into my gym routine and the steaming and the cold and the workout and the yoga, boxing. I mean, we do everything. So
you do the gym 7 days a week?
7 days a week. But, I consider today a 7 day a week yoga, hot yoga. Not really. I stretch. My lower back was a mess 2 months ago. And because of yoga and a few other things, I think I'm knocking on wood. Every time I talk about it, I'm like, I feel pretty good. I don't want to jinx it. So, but
you're speaking something I know. The wife is downstairs right now doing yoga, and she was at a point where she couldn't get out of bed for almost a year, and now is started with 2 minutes, and which was kind of like what we're going to talk about, doing just a minute, 2 minutes in the beginning, and build herself up to now doing 45 minutes a day. No back issues. She can do anything, no pain, better shape than she's ever been in, all just from yoga. So there's no doubt.
Yoga and stretching, man. You got to.
Love it.
Yep.
Love it, man. I got to get into yoga. My feet fail me and don't let me get through a whole yoga workout with her. So I'm big on stretching, but as I'm stretching, I'm realizing like, shit, this has got to turn into yoga.
Well, you know what, the biggest thing for me, and talk about timing, how long it took, but you probably 3 months ago, you told me right before the marathon, so right about 3 months, right? You told me about walking backwards. And I was having knee issues, top of my, not so much knees, top of my quads, right? That tendon or that muscle right there, bro. It took about a month before it went away, 6 weeks it went away, but I'm good as they get. I can't even imagine never doing the toe over. I think it's toe over heels guy, but
knees over toes.
Knees over toes. Unbelievable. I got to meet that guy someday and thank him.
Dude, love him. And he's a guy who, same thing, went from supposed to having knee surgeries to now at an older age than most people can even touch the net, dunks basketballs ridiculously when he couldn't even dunk before he started his knees over toes exercises. So as a guy in his 30s, he is changing people's whole mindset on what was thought to be a definite, I'm starting with this pain that my doctor already told me is leading to knee surgery at some point. Thousands of people have taken that to not need knee surgery and have stronger knees than they ever had, even as teenagers. So
I love it because, again, you told me 3 months ago about, right? So I do it. My wife, who has knee issues and, pays attention to pretty much not whatever I say, she'll do the opposite because she thinks I'm just, I think most you laugh because I think after a certain age and length of marriage, it's just like that. But whatever. That's the fun part of it. But she did it, so she did it this time and listened. And we both, she doesn't know you from Adam, but, she's like, when I meet this guy, Eric, I'm going to thank him, not you.
That's great.
Whoa, but his name's Eric. That's why it worked out. But yeah, we both laugh and say, how easy is that? And it was 10 minutes a day walking, I do it every other day, 10 minutes walking backwards on a treadmill at an angle of 12 and at 0.07 miles an hour. And
I do it with it all.
People, it's a nice thing because if you're consistent about anything, I think, right? And people go, why is he doing that? So now, like the steam room, I sit on my treadmill backwards and people will, give me the double take.
Like you're crazy.
And then they'll ask and say, what are you doing? What's that for? Man, it's a real easy explanation to say, you have got to do it. Even if you don't have knee problems, it'll probably make it so you don't get them because it's that easy. It's kind of like, wow, right?
Yep. I went from not being able to run a couple miles without hurting myself to being in no pain ever. And it's just 5 days a week. Like you said, the exact same thing. Walking backwards on a treadmill for 10 minutes. I do the highest incline. I don't even turn mine on. You said 0.7 speed. I like the idea of maybe putting a little, I don't even turn it on.
Yeah, mine doesn't move if I don't turn it on. So I had to put it on. That's the lowest 0.05 I did for a little while. But then I've seen knee over toe guy go a little faster. So I'm like, you know what? Let me try a little faster. Sometimes I go slower, but I got to say, it's probably one of the greatest things for my body I've done over the last, forever probably, because my knees, I thought I was just getting old and that's just part of life. And you stretch and I had infrared, I had cryo, I had PEMF, I had everything and nothing worked. And then this
walking backwards.
Amazing.
Nuts. Listen, I want to talk about your app you created. Before we do that, you would mention real quick, we're not doctors. Let's just get it out there. This show is just about sharing information and learning stuff together that might help us live towards 1 million hours long, which is 115 years old. That's my personal goal. I want to see my grandson turn 75, but nothing we do or talk about is in any way guaranteed that that's going to happen for me or for you. We are just some dudes who are biohackers, not scientists, not doctors, just guys who believed in stuff that we've tried ourselves to try and live longer. So, and that's why, man, I'm so happy to have you on, because I would say out of everybody, like now this is becoming something that lots of people are into. But there was a while where me and you were just weirdos text messaging each other where nobody was doing the stuff that now we're on here talking about doing. So, and did this lead to the creation of 1 minute before, or did that inspiration come from somewhere else? And real quick, just to tell people what that is. So Eric's invented a mobile app that you can find on the App Store or in the Google Play Store. And it's something you can download on your phone. And it just reminds you 1 minute before it's time to do a couple of very short workouts during the day that if you're not doing anything like in your life and you need to work out and you're trying to find like, what's that thing? I'm not trying to be David Goggins yet. I need the in-between. I'm just sitting on the couch doing nothing. and I'm going to the gym every day, 7 days a week, like he is. This 1 minute before really is an awesome way to just give you a little reminder. Hey, it's time to get up and do something for just a short period of time. Get back down, get back to work. And I loved it. So, talk about it. Where'd it come from? What's the goal of it?
Yep. So thanks for the intro on the 1 minute before app. But I got to tell you, it was something that took a red eye talk about, and I was coming back from San Diego. It was probably 5 years ago where I came back, walked into the office, and one of my guys, younger fella, chap, I was going to call him, right? But he was at his desk and he was hunched over, and I walked by from behind on the outside of it. And I'm like, yo, what's the matter, brother? It's 9:30 in the morning. I just took a red eye in and you're half asleep. I know you don't go out because you didn't go out. And he said, I'm just real tired today. And I laughed. I said, give me 25 jumping jacks. And he said, what? 25 jumping jacks? I'm not going to do 25 jumping jacks in front of you. I said, okay, I'm going to go to my office. Talk to you later. Well, about half hour later, he comes in. He goes, man, I do feel better. I said, what happened? He goes, I did the 25 jumping jacks. And at that point, I was like, you know what? Every day I'm going to send you a text message or something to do real short. Oh, that led into, okay, well, why don't I do this for more people in the office? And then it led to, wow, if I do this a lot with text messaging, it's going to be expensive, because I had an envision of doing this to everybody, right? Not just my company, but all companies. Just get up and move around for a little while.
Yeah.
So then I said, let's make an app. And the whole purpose of the app and the name of the app came because 1 minute before every hour, you get an alert on your phone that's going to show you in a video format how to do an exercise, and they're all at your desk. So this is meant for your office.
Yeah.
So you don't need weights. You don't have to get on the floor, but let's just say it's leg raises. Let's just say it's chair sit-ups. It could be anything you do at your desk, and you're only going to do it for 1 minute. Again, you watch the video, so you don't, every day you're not going to watch the same video to realize that, you know, what leg extensions or whatever it is, you're not going to have to watch the video. You're going to know what to do. App has a clock, a stopwatch that goes backwards, so you know when you're done with 60, and then it asks you how many you did. So it could be sit-ups, it could be anything. And the main purpose of asking you how many you did is a statistic that blows my mind still to this day, is that after two weeks of doing the app, right, that's 9 exercises a day. You figure you got 8 or 9 hours in between of your day, every hour, so you're only going to do one, right? So 8 or 9 exercises a day, 270 exercises a month. If you do that, you get a coin. What's a coin? For every exercise, you get 1 coin. And the ultimate goal is to have a corporate wellness program that every company can have their own app. They can have their own colors. They can have their own videos. If it's the person in the mailroom that wants to show you how to do sit-ups, if it could be the vice president wants to show you how to do jumping jacks, any of those, you know, individual white labeled part, as they call it, will be customized for the company. And the company then takes those coins, or the employees of that company can use those coins for what? The number one thing is time off.
Okay.
The second thing is money, right? So you get your little piggy bank of your coins. But as I said before, after 2 weeks of doing it, the real reason to do it is you double everything you started with. Now it could be, and I tell you at E after this, try it. Do a 1 minute exercise of just calf raises. Tell me what happens after about 30 seconds. You're like, oh my goodness. So when you start, go slow. Just take it easy. But realize that after about 2 weeks of your muscle getting used to it, you're going to double, which is pretty awesome, right? Most people, 85% of the world doesn't work out. So 85% of the world, let's just say, realizes that after 2 weeks, they understand what muscles are. They feel a calf muscle. They might feel a chest muscle. They might feel a tricep just by doing tricep extensions at their desk for a minute. Yeah. So that's where the app came up. That's how I came up. Originally, it was meant for just my office, but I really do see a need, because sitting down all day, not moving, not doing anything is worse than smoking a pack of cigarettes. They call it chair disease.
Yeah.
The mortality rate and everything else is just, I could send you 15 different articles about
believe me. I read a lot about sitting is the new smoking, is what they say. So yeah. I totally hear that. And it is crazy. Like, to go from nothing to 8 minutes a day doesn't sound like a lot, but man, you do 8 minutes a day, even on your work week, 5 days a week. Like you said, not only in 2 weeks are you going to double what you feel, but you're going to start feeling things that you couldn't imagine from just sitting at your desk and doing little exercises. So,
yep. And it leads to, again, most people then join a gym because they want to get more serious, right? And also you start to pay attention to your diet. I mean, diet's 80% of it. We all know that, right? The other 20 is just going through the routine of working out, having your body go through that, motions every day. That's key. But the diet's the most important 80% of it. And
can't outrun a diet. That's what
can't run out of bad diet, right? It amazes me that we talk about the pyramid, right? And if you look at the pyramid, it's so back-ass. It's, again, we're not doctors, but I don't understand why they would tell you to do all that sugar right in the beginning of the day. Or
no way.
I do intermittent fasting too. I fast once or twice a month for 36 to 48 hours.
I do 3 days once a month. We're always doing the same stuff.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, like the wonderful social media does, it puts the right people in your feed. People are like, oh, they're tracking you. Well, they might be, but at least they're giving me relative information and stuff that I find valuable. So I'm okay with that.
It's funny. My Instagram feed is where I go to for all my, longevity, biohacking, vitamin supplement stuff. And it really is just now one after another of who I think are some of the best people in the world to listen to anyway. So like I said, stalk me if you want to, but if you're stalking me with things that are going to help me have a longer, healthier life, I'm in for it. So speaking of that, are there specific people on social media besides Wim Hof that you really follow or like the content from?
Yeah, I like Brecka. I do pay attention to Gary. I like Huberman. Huberman's pretty damn good. He's more of a, the scientist and brain guy than, I'm used to. But listen, I'll pay attention to that. Who else? Those are really the two, I guess, right? For the scientists behind it. But I mean, Rogan talks about all this stuff. So does Goggins, and so does Jesse Islett. He's
Jesse Seitzer. Yeah. I like him too.
They just got done with their crazy, I think it was 100 miles through the canyons. I'm like, I don't think I would ever do that, but maybe I would at some point. Who knows? I don't know.
But there was a time that I ran 5 miles and I thought, well, I'll never do this 5 times plus in a marathon. But I will tell you that at the end of the marathon, there was no way. I was like, you know what? I could do this a few more times today.
Yep. Are you doing another one anytime soon? That was,
I got to be honest. I messed my feet up a little bit with my training. So I'm trying to get back to right now for the last few months after the marathon. Every time I've run, I've kind of hurt myself and put myself backwards. So trying to get my feet back in line so that I can get back to it. I can't imagine that I don't do it at some time in the future, but I had a goal of, in about a month running, not even 3 weeks, doing a half marathon in AC. And I just feel like, man, I need to get myself in a better spot before doing it. But I don't think there's any doubt at some point. I think it would take someone who I care about going like, hey, man, you ran a marathon. Would you help me run a marathon? And then I'll be like, yeah, I'll do it. To get out there and just train that way again, just on my own for my own goal of doing it. I can't say I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, the marathon was unbelievable, right? We got it done, but the training that goes into it that's the commitment, man. You're talking hours on the weekend. That 21 mile run is just.
Yep. That was the one that was. I think that was harder than the marathon. Marathon day, you're so pumped up. You're.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But when you look at your calendar, you're like, oh shit, I got to go run 22 miles in the woods today by myself. It's.
Yep. Hey, listen, for all those that are thinking about doing a marathon, I could say one thing. If you follow a plan and if you follow the pace that you intend to do, you'll figure that out pretty quick in the beginning. Yeah. It's not the actual marathon, like you said, it's not that difficult. I mean, because if you follow pace, you have so many people around you, the energy level, that's the cherry on the top. It's going into it. That's the tough part, boy.
Whew. Yeah.
And the first 3 weeks, don't quit because your body, you're not going to have any. I didn't run before. Did you? I don't think you ran either much.
No, I've always been a runner, but the most I had ever run was like I had done a half a marathon a few years ago. But even that, it took me a lot of training to get up to that half marathon, which I hurt myself running, hurt my back, and that's what made me go, man, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to run a full marathon until I met knees over toes guys and some other people who gave me some really good advice.
Yeah. There. Oh man, I wish I had known him when I did I didn't know, you only told me 3 months ago, but I wish I had done that before the marathon. Although the first 3 weeks of training, because I didn't really run at all before that. I might have done some sprints or played some basketball, but your body and your shins and your everything starts to hurt and you don't know if you're going to make it. But at that point, what you have to do, at least what I did, listen to a few people that were smarter than me that did it and said, go to a running store and get or irregular, you have whatever shoes you have must not be right. And that's what I did. And after that, it got a lot easier. And I think my body got accustomed to some of the distance. But
I went to a doctor who told me these are the shoes you can wear. I've watched me walk, done some tests, and gave me a list of you got to get one of these pairs of shoes. And that's what I did. And it did definitely along with getting a little bit of a lift, figured out one leg was a little bit longer than the other. Combination of the right shoes at least let me, with lots of tape and going to the doctors once a week to get my feet taped for long runs, is what let me do it. So
yeah, we did one. We'll decide if we want to do another.
Check.
I might do a try, but not a full, because I don't want the 13 mile to run. I think personally was a lot easier once I got.
When you say try, you're a swimmer though. I don't know if I could do the swimming in the triathlon. That's where I'd have to train more than any.
Well,
I mean, I could do
what? If you have a pool, it's again like anything else. We just do it. You start with a certain distance, and it'll get easier and easier. I don't have that would be a hard part. Maybe I go into the ocean.
Yeah. I have a pool. I'll be on the pool. I do aqua jogging. You ever try aqua jogging before?
No.
Dude, friggin' amazing. You want to talk about the best workout ever? It's this thing. You just go into a pool. You put a band around your waist that holds you up about neck high into the water. And then you're just jogging through the water. So there's no impact on your joints or your bones. And you do that for 45 minutes a day for a couple of months. It really is. Like you get out of the pool and you're like, holy crap. How did I even work that out? Like I never knew I had muscles there to work out. That, a couple of months later, it's a whole different body. And it's so much fun. You just put on some music and you're just pretty much chilling in a pool for 45 minutes. And it's amazing.
And you're just running the whole time just doing your own thing.
That's it. You're just running. You got to be careful because if you don't pay attention to your running form, you could get out of the pool and be like, oh shit, man, I tweaked my knee because I was making a weird motion with my legs that I didn't even realize. But once you get a good running motion, man, that's my go-to. That's how that was a lot of my training. My days as I was hurting my feet. If my feet were in bad shape when I went to the doctors, I would, instead of doing a 15-mile run that weekend, I would figure out how long it was going to take me to do 15 miles. And I would double that and make myself do that in the pool. So if it was a 2-hour run, I would make myself do
You came out looking like a grape, my friend. That's for sure.
Yup. I would sometimes take 10 minutes in between, sometimes just roll right through and get my hours done.
Ooh, but
man, aqua jog, you can buy a thing on the Amazon or the internet. You can find them anywhere. $30 comes with some gloves that give you a little more resistance.
Yeah.
It's the shit. So, before that, we were talking about shit, man. I had a question for you. All good. No worries. So anything more about 1 minute before? Let's talk a little bit more about 1 minute before. What are the goals of 1 minute before? And do you see technology changing that application? Is that something you eventually see people doing with the Oculus on or the Apple glasses? Or is this something you always see being right to your cell phone?
I mean, you could probably have it more crazy, but the intent was never to get it to like Oculus. We won't have for a while. Apple, we won't have. These are basic movements, right? So once you watch a video once of me or your boss or your, somebody that maybe from, again, I use the mailroom, but someone in shipping, any department of any company can have some fun with this. You want the people to kind of smile when they watched, Jimmy do one jumping jack or, a desk push up. But most of this stuff, again, doesn't have to be tech. It's really just getting up. And, the plan is really to make it for not only companies, but also for rehab centers or even some, chiropractic centers, because let's just say you hurt your shoulder. It's great to go there and do the rehab. But imagine during the day, you get an alert to do a shoulder routine where you're just you're just doing this for 1 minute. And
I love that. I love that it could be customized. So you provide people with you giving an instructional video. And I love the idea that, like, if you're an employer, you could have your head of HR make his own custom videos and replace C&E doing
that's it. Yeah, we want again, the beginning intro, once you download the app, you're going to put your company code in. So whatever the company tells you, or the chiropractic center, or the, I don't want to call it old age home, but imagine an elder care doing this every hour. But so they get to put their intro video in there, their colors, all that good stuff. And then once the first video pops up, it can be customized to whoever. And it doesn't take, you don't have to make it look like it's in Paramount theaters. This is real simple. You know, you can do a stick figure. Just again, it's to show them so they do it correctly, and then the clock that really gets them to do it. And at the end of the day, they put their number in. It has a calendar. It has all the numbers from their daily activity. They'll be able to see it all. Some other versions that we'll put out soon will be more competitive leaderboards and, you know, all that stuff, some raffles, because we want everybody to do it, right? We don't want people to say, oh, I can never catch that guy. But let's just say you get over a certain amount of coins, maybe 150 coins, right? That's probably, you did it half the month almost, right? Which is great. Now what? Now you get entered into a raffle. A raffle for what? Whatever the company wants to do.
Yeah, like you said, time off. People will do a lot for time off.
And, you know, companies, at least me as a company, I know that if I have healthy employees and if my employees are eating right, and I'm always that kind of guy that will stress and tell them to do certain things. And I see it in their face. I see it in their smile. I see it after a couple of weeks, they go through it. And typically what ends up happening, they feel so great, but they fall off again, right? And they know, we all know what we have to do. So hopefully a minute reminder throughout the day that the employer is going to pay you, you know, not 8 minutes in time off and money, plus the time off of just getting up to do an exercise, right? But it becomes something that the office can get really into because, you know, again, the results are 2 weeks in. You don't have to wait months.
It does make sense for everybody because most employers will offer you discounts at gyms because they know if you're in better shape when they do their overall health assessment, it can lower the cost of their insurance. With thousands of employees, they're actually saving money by helping their employees just live a little bit of a healthier life.
Well, you know what, too? Some companies contribute to that, you know, not only a gym membership, but they give you a certain amount of. One of my buddies works at one of the bigger banks, and they contribute to the HSA. Right. Wow. Your health. I forget what it stands for.
Health savings account.
There you go. I'm self-employed. That shows how much I know about that.
That's all right.
They will contribute to that. But then again, you don't use that money if you don't join the gym or if you don't go to the gym. Right. So let's get us some time off. Let's get us some coins. Let's get some value in it. And again, you don't have to change your daily routine. You don't have to go in shorts. You can do this. You're not going to break a sweat. Right. High knees, you're not going to go, you know, you're not going to fight to get 200, 300.
Simple exercise for 1 minute.
I want everything slow. We want everything rehabbed. We want to make it so that the person will go to a gym and pay attention more to their, you know, day to day. That's it.
Well, man, I think it's a great idea, but more important than that, I love that it came from a place of you just wanting to help people. Like literally, you wanted to help one dude that worked for you that then made you think, I could help my whole office, that then made you think I could help maybe everybody around the country before you even thought about, hey, I could make this thing into something that could also eventually, hopefully be a profitable company. You know, too many things come from how do I make money from this without being the basis and start of how do I help people and just spread love?
That was, you know, awesome. Again, I never looked at the money part of it in the beginning. And now it really just becomes, listen, I still don't want to. Customization, everything costs time, everything else. So there'll be some, you know, monetarily things change, but that's still not, you know, the purpose. The purpose is to make a name for 1 minute, make it so that I'll have influencers. I'll have other fitness guys doing some other videos that we might not know, you know, for your wrist. Let's just say carpal tunnel, bang, you have different, and it's each category can be customized by each company. So you could have it however you want. So
I love that. So you can be a chiropractor, put out your own app for your people as a chiropractor.
Yep.
So I love it, man. Keep going, I think you got.
We going, baby. We going. We're good.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about other longevity hacks that you've talked about. One that I'm intrigued with that I haven't spent too much time on, at least using little research. Talk to me a little bit about peptides.
So again, because of our feeds, we get a lot of educational people, right? So I actually have a conversation not on the internet with somebody that's in the rehab and the chiropractic world, intrigued me about peptides. So then once you search it, now you get all these different feeds. But peptides, again, there's all different ones. They're all amino acid, bio-like, the ones that are in your body that make certain things work better, right? I haven't used them. I'm very tempted to, because I've seen some results from some of my friends and people within the industry for recovery, for healing. One in particular is called PPC 157. And it's amazing. Out in California, I met a professional baseball player, a little older than me, and he was complaining about it. So we were just talking about, you know, life in general, and then some fitness because he's in awesome shape. But he complained about his shoulder and was thinking about getting shoulder surgery. And I'd mentioned, have you done stem cell? Which I've never had, but other people say that's awesome also. And he said, yeah, but it didn't really do too much. And I've mentioned BPC 157. They call it the Wolverine peptide, right? They had no clue.
Recovery.
Yeah, all recovery. And wherever you got to inject it, I think.
Yep.
You do it maybe 1 or 2 times. And again, I'm not the specialist, but everything heals. Like whatever. And I was going, and the reason I know more about it, I was researching it because I thought I was going to have to use it in my knees before I did the knees backwards stuff.
That's crazy.
And then that went away, and now I'm like, okay, I'm pretty good. So I don't need BP.
You're recovered.
BP 157. So I recovered, but it took 6 weeks, 2 months. They got to do it.
It used to be something you could get pretty easily. Now I think the government made it illegal for people to sell. So you have to
get a prescription. So definitely go to a doctor and ask, the questions that what we're talking about. I'm just mentioning stuff that I had researched, and I was going to get a prescription and go to a doctor to do it just because of my knees. But you told me about the knee guy. But the other
try
one,
talking to your doctor. That's what I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I love doctors. I love that we have doctors. I love that people dedicate that much of their life to become so knowledgeable to be able to help people live. But man, you try and talk to your regular, I call him sickness doctor, about something like BPC 157 when it's not something that's already in their holster. I have gotten resistance.
But if I'm a doctor and I'm not, I would do, if I heard this from that many patients and other people that are, I'm pretty smart. Most of these guys, even DeLauer talks about it. He's got 4 million followers that he's helped, right? And he talks about 157 particularly. Also, there's others. There's some that replicate human growth hormone release, and I'm not going to go into all the names, but
it's
your own
funny,
research.
Because you find so many people that be like, I would never do something like a peptide. And then when they realize, oh shit, Ozempic is just a peptide, like that's exactly what that is. They just figured out a way to,
it's just another, again, it's an amino acid, just like all the other ones, and it's particular to a certain things that work with insulin level, right? There's other ones, and it's funny because now you'll see more and more of these superstar, fitness guys looking awesome, talking about diet, talking about all this good stuff. And I hit some of them I love to DM and see if I can get a response from people.
Why not?
And I get into a discussion with one of them, and the next thing you know, he's telling me that he did one of the peptides. And I'm like, man, you don't mention that in any of your stuff, but I know, and that's why you look like you do. Don't tell me. Diet's critical. Yeah. I'm with you, but there's no way you're that.
You never know. They could be covering up juice. No, it's just BPP 157 that I'm taking. That's why they don't talk about it on their feeds.
Yep. Yeah, it's amazing. Again, you're older like me. We're over 50. It's you have people that are same age group.
I'm 49, bro.
Oh, I got 5 years on you, bro. Come on. Damn,
I know, dude. Believe me. That's what kills me, bro, because you look like you're younger than me and you got 5 years on.
The tan. It's only the tan, baby. It's only the tan.
People been thinking Jim is my little brother for years, which is funny for a couple of reasons.
He's another success story, man. I'm happy every time I see him. That's awesome. Awesome.
Yep. So good stuff. So peptides are just something that you're researching more than you're using and can tell the effects.
I'm looking. I'm actively going to probably. I'm gonna probably. I don't know, in the spring. Maybe it's spring now, but maybe before summer, do a round or something.
I love that. I love the idea of, and I'm similar with things that are more, could have more side effects because nobody really knows the side effects of certain things when you're injecting something into your body. I'm like you, I'll pay attention to that for a while before I'll implement it. And also,
I'm going to let a few of my real close buddies try it because they're talking about it. I'm like, oh yeah, brother, let me know how that works out for you. So, I people I trust, my friends more than, somebody on social media, but still these guys have reputations and the science behind it says the side effects are, I don't even know.
Minute, but there, and if you don't need something, then why add it when you're already doing
something? If my knees didn't get better, I wouldn't say days away, but that was my last resort because I'm not. After I see all these other people, going crazy about how it healed them up, and I'm fighting my knees, and I love to work out. I love to ride bike. I like everything, right? And I'm like, oof, my legs throughout the day, I had the massage right above my knees, and whammo. That knee
Wow.
guy's magic, man. Magic.
Yep. Yes, he is. Ben, we all, your wife said she got to thank me. Nah, we all got to thank Ben, the knees over toes guy, because he changed all our lives. So now, of all the things you do, the one thing that I think is the craziest and the one that I love the most is you go jump in the Jersey cold ocean to start off some of your mornings. How often you do that, and how much of an impact does that have on your day after freezing your ass off to start it?
Oh, come on. So I do it once a week. We call it Sunrise Tuesday. So it's only on Tuesdays, and it's got to be, it can't be pouring rain. That's the only time I don't go do it. If it was snowing, I didn't have this year any snow. But the water got down to 39 in right at the end of February, and now it's about 40. Last Tuesday I was away, but the Tuesday before it was like 43. The trick to it. I love the cold anyway because I've been dipping on the cold, but I run 4 miles. I run 4 miles before, so I'll go up.
So you're ready for it.
I'm ready for it. I'm looking forward to it. The last, that last half mile, I kind of sprint as much as I can to get back to the car, because I know when I get to the car, I got to strip down, get in, just leave my shorts on, walk about a quarter mile down to the ocean. And the water's not so much the water feels great. You walk in up to your, once you get above the knees, it's like, feels awesome. Yeah. The fear I have is most of the time it's before the sunrise comes up, because I like that orange. If you ever look at the ocean, that orange hue is
that free sunlight.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Sunlight,
yeah, so I get that deep in the eyes too. You can look at that and not harm your eyes, right? And they say that's good for you. So, but when it's wavy, right, and the tide is high, or if the tide is low, and then I got to go way out. So now I'm going way out there because I always do a little dip. That's the only part that's sometimes kind of scary. But above and beyond that, the cold, we all know what the cold does for you. That shock and getting your proteins to fire out some of those, eat up the bad cells, and the shock proteins go after that atrophy, or what do they call it? Atrophy when they eat.
Close.
Well, I'm close.
I think it is.
Yeah, that'll eat all the bad, or the mediocre or bad cells.
Get all those bad cells that accumulate in everybody's body. We all have cancer, apparently. It's just a matter of whether your body gets rid of those cells or turns it into something way worse. And things like cold plunging have been proven by people smarter than us to absolutely turn on those cold shock proteins and protect your organs, strengthen things that you can't strengthen by doing anything else.
Yep.
So the fact that you do it in the ocean after running once a week makes you
listen. I always wondered before I knew, because now there's more and more evidence of what it does to you. But before I knew what it did for dopamine levels in your brain, they say doing cocaine lasts for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 2 times your dopamine level. And this is again one of my feeds from somebody that's smarter than me. Dopamine levels after you do a cold plunge is 2.5 to 3 hours after. And I always wondered when I came to the office on Tuesday. My day in the beginning of the day was always smiling, and not to say every Tuesday, but I was in a great mood. And I always say now I look back and I still laugh, because Tuesday it is. You can't be in a bad mood on Tuesday, can you?
It's funny you say that, man, because that's what I noticed, I think, first about cold plunging, was that I thought the advantage of it was going to be how I felt as soon as I got out of that, 3 to 6 minute cold plunge. And I realized, and by the way, your balls, I never one time have gone all the way under in depth. I've never.
Oh, you got it, brother. It's quick. Just do it, man. It feels
I've never done it once.
I got to go. Listen, Tuesday, the next one is Tuesday. Hopefully it's warm. Hopefully it's still cold. I got to check the weather. When I get up to the 50s. You coming up this one? You got to come up. We only got a few left. Come on.
Yeah, man. Especially since I like to run. I can probably do 4 miles is probably about my limit right now. So I'll do the run with you and then hop in and dip with you.
Listen, I put it out there every Tuesday, right? And you know how many people hit me? I get more comments on that or DMs on that than anything else I do. But the best part is everybody says they're coming on the next one. I'm going to come this one. I'm coming.
How often have you had someone show up compared to you doing it by yourself?
Never.
No.
So I had somebody. Listen, I had somebody come down. It was on a Saturday. And I don't know why I did it that Saturday, but for some reason I did it Saturday too. They came down, ended up doing it after the fact, a couple hours, because they saw me at like 8 in the morning, whenever it was. And they came down at 11 with their daughter, and they were like, I got to go do this. And they went and they jumped in. Yep.
So, but that's what we were saying. So to me, the benefit happens, 4 or 5 hours later. I thought it was this rush that I was going to feel right when I got out of it. Really, that's great. Don't get me wrong. You do feel amazing when you get out of a cold plunge. But the way you feel 2, 3, 5, 6 hours later is, to me, what makes me keep doing it again. So,
yep, I love it.
Anything that you're seeing in your feed on the horizon besides peptides that you're excited about that you think you might try in the future?
I'm trying some infrared now for recovery wise. And that's just infrared light at a certain wavelength. So you can wear a mask for your skin. It'll do collagen. It'll also a different wavelength will get deeper into the muscle. And supposedly that brings oxygen and does the actual wavelength does something to the cell where it makes it expel nitrous and then replace it with oxygen. So it's something newer to me. I have a gun. I've been using it. I was using it on my knees and I didn't feel any better. I didn't feel any different. Who knows whether or not it was working, but I was doing the knees over toes had to be the one that worked because again, combination of red light.
Doing everything else.
I don't know. I'm doing anything possible until I find the one that works. So right now I'm very happy with my knees and I have to thank you again and again and again. I laugh because
man, that's awesome. That's awesome. I got to get out. We got to celebrate in the cold water in one of these next couple of Tuesdays. So.
I hope you got about this month, and that's maybe the beginning.
Yeah, after that, you're a pussy. Like it's not even cold. You're just in chilly water.
You're weak. You're weak.
Yeah. It's got it. I mean, really, to be honest with you, I almost feel like, shoot, it's spring. You did this all winter. Now it's spring, and I'm going to go hop up in the cold water with you.
Although, today, I don't know about you, but it was about freezing. I went out to water. I have a greenhouse, and I went to water it, and I'm like, water's not coming out. What happened?
Ice. From what I hear, too, with the cold water, there's no proven benefits to under 50 degrees. Like, as long as you get under 50 degrees, as far as the things we talked about with cold shock proteins and helping your organs, that doesn't seem to be the colder you get, just the more manly you are for doing it, but not the better health benefit you get. So you're probably right. We got a few weeks before water's over 50 degrees. So let's make it happen.
You got to come up with your brother. I don't know if he's cold dipping, but I'd love to see him. So get up here.
Dude,
maybe come up the night before because we're going at it. Although daylight saving time's made it so the sun comes up later now. So we're good by, we'll start running at 6.
There you go. I think I could do that. I could get up one day that'll be me because you're not close to me geographically. That'll be me getting up at probably like 4 o'clock in the morning to be able to get out of the house and
or come up the night before, brother. I got room.
There you go.
We'll eat healthy and we'll get a good running.
Good stuff. What's your diet like, E? I know you said intermittent fasting. How often do you do intermittent fasting? And then what's your health, your diet protocols outside of your?
Yep. That's one thing I have to get better on. Not that I don't eat correctly. My problem is nighttime, but I intermittent fast till probably 12-ish to 2-ish every day. I'll stop eating at 8, probably between 7 and 8. I have a pretty good diet during the day, between some supplements, proteins, and some other good things that I'm eating. It's great. Even at nighttime, my wife's a cook. She can, all types of different meats, all types of veggies, all that good stuff. My problem is the bag of, not a bag of Oreo, but the 2 sleeves of Oreos. I have no self-control when it comes to junk. I'm an absolute animal.
We got to get on an expert about that, because, me and Jim were talking about the same thing. Most of my friends talk about the same thing. I have amazing willpower. I have awful self-control. And my biggest hurdle is the nights. If I could just give myself a shot that at 7 o'clock, I just passed out and I woke up 5 o'clock in the morning, I would probably be shredded like the people on our feeds.
Absolutely. So that's the thing all our listeners that are listening right now, because there's millions out there. I know that. Let's come up with that cure. Is it salt on the tongue? I need something after dinner.
You know what? My brother-in-law had a pretty good idea. He brushes his teeth and mouthwashes at 7 p.m. And he said that, it wasn't just that I'm too lazy to brush my teeth again if I eat something. There's something that it does to your taste buds that can kind of dim. Now, I've heard some other people on our feed talk about mouthwash is bad and it kills some of the gut bacteria that you need.
Yep.
But if your problem like me is I can sometimes stray off after especially when the wife goes to bed, all of a sudden the fridge looks like the hottest thing in the world once the wife goes to bed. But, I did like his idea. I'm thinking about trying that. Like, okay, I could just brush my
done it.
teeth.
Listen, you don't want to brush twice, right? That's probably kind of why, but
Part of it. Yeah. He says it's more than that.
I don't know. I'll try it, but right now, if it's in the house and I'm good for the bag's not open. Like I'm not that guy to go, I'll be the first one to do it.
That's
right?
me too, dude.
Once it's open, and most of the time I don't open it, so my wife will open it and kind of hide it. I got a bad nose for anything, brother. I'm
it's so funny, dude. We live parallel lives. My wife hides so we're big. We make chocolates for people. People struggling. We make some infused chocolates for people struggling just for free, just to help people. And there's always little bags of chocolate chips in my house. And I'm the same way, dude. I purposely went and we make them 12 ounces of chocolate at a time. I purposely went and got 12-ounce bags of chocolate because if it's not open, I'm not going to open it. So my wife can just take the 12-ounce bag, make the chocolates, and done. But if she goes and gets the 36-ounce bag and she opens it and shit, man.
And you know it. While you're doing it, you're hating it. But you love it, right? But you're hating going, it's going to kill me tomorrow morning, but I'll be all right. And you just do it.
Yeah. I'll just get up and work out a little bit more is what I tell myself. And
that's why I go 7 days a week. If I didn't, I'd be in trouble.
Yeah, dude, you've definitely given yourself some wiggle room on how tightly you have to follow stuff when you're working out 7 days a week, steaming and breathing 7 days a week. Like that's ridiculous, dude. I'm proud of you for that, man. I know you do it. Like there's lots of people to talk about doing it, but you're putting it up there, and I know you. You're texting me from the dude. I got to a minute on my Wim Hof breathing today in the steam room.
That's it. Listen, it's routines, everything, and especially in the morning. You have no excuse. If you're trying to do this at nighttime, there's always something that comes better, especially if you're an entrepreneur, right? Or I don't want to use the word, but let's call it self-employed.
Self-employed in any way.
You're always working, and I don't mean the bad or good way, but you're always actively hunting for the next thing in a good way, right? That's why we.
Dude, you're right. Because you know what? As busy as I am, and I'm the person that answers the phone at most times of the day and over the weekend because I work with people that need me when they need me. But dude, if you need me from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., then you're just too needy, So I feel like I can turn off and really just focus on, 2 hours of just me. Then I got to give it up to everybody else.
Yeah, most people
you're right. Doing that at night.
Most people don't bother you from 6 to 8. That's the best part. And most people have bothered you the night before. So I'm up at 4. I'm up at 4:40. With or without a clock. That's kind of the clock lets me know it's 4:40, so I'm up already. But that first hour of 45 minutes of the day is getting set up to be able to go do all the things we do. But it's coffee, it's going through the whatever came in the night before, delegating that stuff. So everything's off my plate. There's nothing shocking. So I know when I'm working out from 6 to 7:30ish around there. Anybody that sends me anything in between that time is usually a friend that knows I'm in the gym that wants to get me something good. And aside from that, you get to the office and now you're planning your day. You don't have to go back and go have anxiety that you got to deal with something. All that stuff's already finished.
Yep. And you said that too, and it's important. Then you're not thinking about when you're working out after work, a little bit in your mind the whole time you're working is the thought of having to go work out. Where when it's already done for the day and you just start your day with that being in your rear view, it is a totally different feeling and experience. So I'm with you, man. Once in a while, I'll hop in the sauna at night. If my wife falls to sleep early, I'll throw the sauna on and get in at, 10, 11 o'clock at night. But working out wise, it all happens from, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m.
Yeah, and statistically, it makes more sense to do it in the morning anyway, just on metabolism level. If you go a certain amount of time, over 32 minutes of a high intense workout, your metabolism's higher the rest of the day. If you do it at nighttime, going into sleep,
exactly.
Then you don't get as much of that because you're asleep.
Yep. You're disturbing your sleep and not getting the benefit of that energy you gave yourself from working out that could be getting you through the day. So
Yep.
We are, as always, the same. And now fasting, you had mentioned fasting too. Intermittent, I get it. What's your eating window? Is it a 8-hour eating window?
Yeah, usually 7 to 8 till 12 to 2. But some days I go right to 5, or 6 when I'm going to go home to eat. I'll eat once a day. And then I try to do like once a month, 36 to 48 hour, maybe at most 72 hour, that 3-day. Because after that, there's not tons of benefit, as they say. But, I do that. Try to do it once a month.
Yeah, me too. I try to do once a month with a 72-hour fast. and every day intermittent fasting. I try and have a shake at 1, then I try to have my last any food by 8 o'clock, even if it's grapes or oranges at 7:30. I try not to have anything once 8 o'clock comes, and I'm successful 5 days of the week. So
yep.
It's a start.
Yeah, and cheat 1 day or 2 days. I try to do a Friday or Saturday night. I got to get better at it, man. I've been bad at night, and I know summer's coming. So for me to be able to change everything, it just comes to that late night after dinner. If I do that for a month, I can drop 15 to 20 pounds just by stopping that, which is, I got to do it. So now's the time. I got a birthday.
Yeah. Well, listen, dude, we got to be texting each other. I'll be texting you, yo, dude. 8:30, put that shit down.
I'm gonna, brother. I'm gonna
go to bed.
Get that chocolate chip bag out of your mouth.
And really, what I got to do is just go to bed. Like, dude, that's what I got to tell myself. Before I get to, you got to put the chocolate chip bag down. I just got to get to yo, bro, go to bed. You got nothing good going on.
Well, here's another good thing too for the longer fasting. I don't know about your wife if she travels, but mine, we'll travel once a month, twice a month. I try to do it the same time she's traveling. This way, I don't feel bad if she cooks a good meal, and I don't have to sit at dinner and eat with her. And like you said, brush your teeth, go to bed. Brush your teeth.
She's cool. She knows the days that I'm fasting. She'll make either dinner plans with a friend to go out, or her mom lives across the street. She'll go make dinner with her mom and make it an excuse to hang out with her mom, plus not have to cook an amazing meal that I got to smell. Because it's tough. I get to the point on like the third day, I got to be careful on social media. Because, a lot of the things that people put in front of my feed, because it's a lot health related, is, oh, you eat chicken and rice? You could gym rat recipe, eat this burger that's made healthy and it's all this protein.
I'm going to go for a burger today on this Sunday.
Oh, that's a tough one.
It's almost 12 o'clock now. I'm about to go get something.
It's funny because when I fast, I don't miss. Even I said chocolates are a little bit of a weakness just because they're there and the bag's open. I don't miss that. It is the burger, the bread,
I'm a bread guy too, big time.
Yeah, man, that's what and that's my biggest downfall. But it's also what once I get away from. Have you ever had any blood testing done?
I did.
So I found out
pretty average. I didn't really, go high end on most anything. My cholesterol was a little higher, but again, I think it's just, I did it again because it was 3 months after the fact, and I fasted a few days before, and everything flip flopped. Like I didn't have any issues with anything. So, I don't know. I
go to a longevity doctor who does this blood panel that is the most ridiculous blood panel that he talks me through for like an hour and a half on each appointment. This is what you're doing right. This is what you're doing wrong. But the one thing he discovered is you'll hear people like Gary Brackey you listen to talks about that MTHFR gene.
Yep.
That 44% of us have. And what it means is we can't take the folic acid that's sprayed on almost all of our rices and grains and breads and turn that into folate, which is what your body needs. So, man, I used to really even though I love bread, I was so bad because I couldn't figure out whether it was dairy or bread that was really messing with me. Because when I would go off my damn diet, I would usually end up doing both and then not knowing what it was. But my doctor figured out I have this MTHFR gene, which again, all products that are breads and grains have folic acid in them, almost all of them. So your body stacks them up and feels like crap. I started taking a methylated folate vitamin, and now I can eat it, which is good in ways and bad in ways, but now, man, just doing something like blood test really can change your outlook on you. I would have never known that my problem was that I store up folic acid.
Yep. Everybody, I mean, again, at a certain point of their life, should get the blood, whether it's sooner or later, get a full blood workout to find out if you have, some genetic things nowadays they can find, right? But
yeah,
I tell everybody before you do anything, diet, right? Just slow it down. Don't even know what's bad for you. Slow it down. No reason for any soda or any of that high sugar bullshit, right? Nope. That's just ridiculous. Go to
even fake sugar stuff. Like really just start. If you want to start with something, in my mind, it's first the Wim Hof breathing, but then what's the second most important thing? It's your water. So get all drinks out of your life, add water, and I love doing. I don't know. Do you do the hydrogenated water, like the bottles? So the hydrogenated water they say is the best water you can drink. Forget about spending all the money on the Essentia and the expensive reverse osmosis stuff. If you just buy a bottle, Echo Plus is the one that Gary Brecka talks about. That's probably the highest quality. But, you just pour your regular water out of a cooler. Don't drink tap water ever, ever, ever. But, don't buy expensive water. Buy the big 5-gallon jugs and just put it in these hydrogen bottles. Push a button. There's nothing you have to add to it. It hydrogenates your water. And apparently, even though, everyone might think, well, isn't water already part hydrogen? Well, it's not in a form that you get the gas form of it, where putting these bubbles into the water and then drinking it apparently is the healthiest way to drink water. So if you were to just do something like that, get your water intake up and hydrogenate your water. It's something you buy one time that, could be a life changer.
And where do you get it? Online? You just buy the bottle, or they sell in
stores?
Yeah,
you just buy the bottle. They're expensive. So the Echo Go ones are a couple $100. Now there's ones that you can buy for $30. I don't know what the difference is between the $30 bottle and the couple $100 bottle. So I'm like, I listen to Gary Brecka. I know he would at least put something good that's out there. So that's really, to be honest with you, the reason why I went, I'll suck up the couple $100 and buy the Echo Plus.
And is it, any filters? You do nothing? It's just battery?
No, really? You don't do anything. You just buy the bottle once. I don't believe you ever have to do anything to maintain it. You literally hit a button. You got to charge it. It's got a plug in. You got to charge it. But I don't think you have to do anything with maintaining it after buying it.
Wow, I'm gonna add that.
But if you don't do that, if you don't do that, start with water intake and get the junky drinks out of your diet, and add 100 ounces of water. Whatever they say, 1 ounce per every other pound, or if you can get up to it eventually, 1 ounce for every pound. And man, for me, especially when I'm doing the fasts, I try and get up to 200 to 250 ounces a day. Clean it all out.
Yep.
That and then, like you said, then it is diet. You can't outrun your food. So you got to starve. I don't care what you do. If you don't eat right, you don't live right.
That's it.
Hey, anything else you want to add, bro? I really appreciate you taking some time on a Sunday after hot yoga.
Nothing, brother. Just like we said, again, don't quit right away. If something's not, you don't feel it, but you've listened to people that try to do it. If I had felt and nothing better in the first month and just said, this over knee stuff I'm so happy 6 weeks in, boom.
Push through, yeah.
Listen to those that make sense, I guess, right? Pay attention to it, but then try it and don't just give it a short amount of time for it to work. Let it roll.
It's funny you say that with the knees over toes. That's the last thing we'll talk about, because I felt the same way. I probably wouldn't have stuck with it if I didn't just happen to find that guy when then I was out to dinner where a dude said, "Oh, you're running a marathon?" I lost 100 pounds. And I said, "What was your trick?" He goes, "Knees over toes guy." And I was like, "Oh shit, that guy on Instagram that I just found last week, his name's Ben." I'm like, "Yeah, his name's Ben." And then it was like, karmically, I have to do this. Yep. And then, like you said, it was about a month to a month and a half in where I realized I am never stopping doing this.
Going up steps like, you're back in high school, running up them, laughing, going, this is just.
And you just do the walk backwards, right? You don't.
I do some of the, I do the against the wall when you stand against the wall and you raise your, I forgot what they call it. And I do all that stuff too. But the walking, I guess, I don't know. I do all of them, but I happen to talk about the walking backwards for 10 minutes.
I would say the walking backwards is absolutely what I got the most benefit from. The next one is the standing on the steps. And you just try and reach down with your 1 foot and have your back of your heel touch the step below. Man, you do that 25 times on each leg and walk backwards for 10 minutes. I guarantee you, I can't guarantee anything. I will bet you a lot of money.
I'll sprint. I'll race you if you don't feel better. And I'll run backwards and probably beat your ass.
There you go, man. That's what I see you doing. You started with your 0.5. You're up to 0.7. I'm going to have you back on in a few episodes. You're going to be telling me how you're now jogging.
Yeah. There's a new Olympic sport. It's all done backwards, right? So
the senior run backwards, gold medal goes.
Don't use that senior. Come on, baby.
Oh, come on. We are, dude. I'm right behind you, man. AARP for me next year. First thing I'm doing when I turn 50. Listen, because I'm a believer in we're all going to get old. I'm going to be as old as everybody. Older, I hope. But while most people are going to be with walkers, I'm going to be playing tennis and walking my dog on the beach. So
that's it.
That's the plan. I can't reverse the clock, but I can get to keep getting better, and then eventually, fall off the cliff. But I refuse to watch myself.
That'll be 50 years from now, brother. 50 years. Come on.
Oh, easy. More than that, dude. More than that.
And by that time, I tell everybody you got to make it there because they're going to have some, crazier medicines and everything else. But until then, just take care of yourself so that you can use some of the newer modern medicine.
Exactly. Right? Don't mess yourself up in the pregame. To me, we're in the pregame of life extension. So we might be that first age of people where we can really make this thing go longer than anybody ever expected when we were born, which is awesome. But like you said, you can't mess yourself up now. You got to keep yourself in a position where, I have a feeling where the further behind you get, the more it's going to cost you to catch up.
Yep. So, and time to catch you up. Why not just go right into it, right?
Yep. Hey, let's keep doing it together, dude. I'll keep texting you. You keep texting me, and we're going to do this again, man. Really appreciate you taking some time on Million Hour Life. And dude, remember, 1 minute before, download the app. It really is something that you could change your life in quickly, and then take it from there, build from there. All righty. Have a good Sunday, dude. Thank you again.
You too, brother. See you soon. Sad to you, brother.
Will do. See you in the cold soon.
Hey, baby. Tuesday.